Pfizer lays out how much more protected Americans could be, plus if you really need one.
Then we're going behind the menu. I'll tell you all about a family-run business that specializes in delicious chicken. What's new starts right now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Oh, good evening, Northeast Ohio. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you so much for choosing What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford. You probably don't know it right now, but we are dual streaming.
We are.
Jay actually figured out how to turn his camera around on his phone, and so we are streaming on our 3 News What's New family Facebook page. So we have 7. Oh, we're down to 6. Sorry.
We lost a viewer.
That didn't take long.
Something I said.
We're only getting started, though. But, yeah, what a fun day we have ahead
I'll tell you, Bets, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone at home and to everyone on the Facebook Live feed.
Yes.
I will say we've got a busy show for you. There's a lot going on, and much of it is sports-related.
Yeah.
You know, with the Olympics and a huge day here in Cleveland. This should be a holiday, I think, because your Cleveland Browns are back in town and back on the practice field in Berea as they officially opened training camp ahead of the 2021 season. And when we last saw our Browns, they lost a very hard-fought but close playoff game to the Chiefs, 22-17. And 46 days from now, we're going to see them again against the 2-time defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs. That's when they open the 2021 regular season. Man, is it good to see those uniforms back on the field. And the voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, has been out at Browns training camp tracking everything all day long. Jimmy, good afternoon to you. So much to talk about here as the Browns report for what they hope will be a very long and very successful season.
Good afternoon, Jay and Betsy. Hello from heaven. Although with this heat, it feels like the other place. But I'll take heaven. It's the opening day of Browns training camp, and it's great. It is great to see the team back out on the field. And the team and the head coach were met immediately by the big point of this season, high expectations. And why? Well, because of what they did last season. 11 wins last year, finally breaking that long 18-year drought and getting into the playoffs. But Kevin Stefanski quickly grounded his football team when he met them in the first night of training camp and said, listen, remember how we did it last year. We did it with good, hard work. Nothing came easy, and it didn't. But when we worked, we won. If we go back to that, then we'll be successful. The results will take care of themselves.
Our guys are up for the challenge. We're not going to think too much or think too far ahead of ourselves, but totally recognize that this league is it's difficult, and you'll get reminded every once in a while how difficult it is. But the guys understand this is a long season, and part of getting ready for that long season is putting some really good work in early as we get started.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about the rebuilt Browns defense throughout the offseason. But, man, when you take a look at this Browns offense and you take it off paper and put it out onto the field like it was today, they are going to be something to try and stop. They have talent all over the field. But here's the big thing that they have: familiarity with what the offense is all about. Remember, this is the same offense they ran last year with the same people in that offense, with a healthy OBJ, with Baker Mayfield, Kevin Stefanski, Alex Van Pelt. It's all good, according to Jarvis Landry.
The familiarity of the play style, the play system is something that can benefit us, and we don't have that learning curve. Now it's just kind of growing from what we already do. So I think that's the best thing about having a system for multiple years.
Landry looked tremendous out on the field today. Beckham did some pretty good work out on the field. That's going to be a growing process. Was there a bump in the road today in the way of an injury? Possibly there was, and this is something we're going to have to keep our eye on. Injuries can really cripple any football team, no matter how good they look on paper. If they start getting injuries, it's a real problem. Greedy Williams walked off the practice field before the end of the practice session this afternoon with a trainer. That's important because, remember, it was about a year ago Greedy Williams went off the practice field with a shoulder problem that became a nerve problem in that shoulder, and he didn't play all season long. Thus, that's why the Browns drafted a defensive back, Gregory Newsome, in the first round of this past draft. So, Jay, that's something we're going to have to watch about Greedy Williams, his durability. And was this an injury that a recurrence of a problem from last year that kept him out the entire season, or was it just the end of the day for him? We'll get clarification on that. And I will say this, Jay, it's great being here today, but on Friday, it will really feel even better because that's when the fans will be back.
Yeah, you said it at the top. This is heaven on earth. This is the closest thing you're going to get to heaven here, and that's day one of Browns training camp. Friday is going to be nuts out there when the fans can be back for the first time in really almost 2 years because, as you said, they couldn't join in last year. Jimmy Donovan live from Browns camp. We're going to see him again at 6 o'clock. Jimmy, thanks.
You got it. Thanks, Jay.
Awesome stuff. All right, let's go to Tokyo now, where Ohio native Simone Biles is out of the all-around competition. USA Gymnastics announced that the 6-time medalist will not compete tomorrow. She will be evaluated every day before she and her team will decide if she would compete in next week's individual events. You can get updates on Simone and all things Olympics related by scanning that QR code that you see there at the bottom of your screen with the camera on your phone. A nifty little link pops up, you hit it, and boom, you have all of our Olympic content right there in the palm of your hand. Meanwhile, we have many other Ohioans to talk about. A Massillon native wows in rugby, while Ohio fighters remain unbeaten in the ring.
Yeah, that is a big development right now in Tokyo. So we'll bring in Will Ewick, who gives us our daily update on our Ohio Olympians, and our boxing Buckeyes are the real deal. I mean, who knew?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically Ohio's new sport, right? We were known for the Ohio State Buckeyes football. Now it should be boxing. You guys mentioned it so far. In the Olympic Games, Ohio owns boxing. We'll get to that in a bit. We start with Massillon's Carlin Isles first in Team USA Rugby Sevens taking on Canada. Now, we told you yesterday this match wouldn't change the fact that U.S. would not medal. It was all for their final ranking, but wow, Isles played like the gold was on the line. He scored twice in the victory over Canada, 21-14, so at least we could say we're the top team in North America, right? Okay, so this is why they pay me the big bucks. I was working the phones throughout the night to figure out what happened to Ohio's horse, Salvino. He was withdrawn from the individual medal round that took place early this morning after winning silver in the team competition. I did speak with his owner, Betsy Giuliano, who is in Tokyo. She tells me he wasn't quite himself, so they decided to err on the side of caution. They pulled him. However, they feel great about contributing to the team medal. Again, U.S. Equestrian did take the silver there. Our best to Salvino. Hopefully he feels better. To the pool now, where Trenton, Ohio's Zach Apple, already winning a gold medal earlier in the games, came up just short in the 4x200 meter freestyle relay. Team USA finished fourth there, missing the podium by under a second. Apple also missed the cut in the men's 100-meter freestyle semifinal as well, but hey, any games in which you come home with a gold medal is a good one. Now to what appears to be Ohio's new headlining sport. We talked about it, boxing. This is Cincinnati's Duke Reagan. They all have great boxing names, too. This is the round of 16, featherweight division, taking on Serik Termashinov of Kazakhstan. Ooh, missed that one. Kazakhstan. Thank you, Betsy.
Okay,
I should have tagged her in. This one wasn't particularly close, guys. Reagan wins by unanimous decision. He'll move on to the quarterfinals where he'll face, this is much easier, Kurt Walker, I got that one, of Ireland. That bout slated for Saturday night. So Ohio with 3 boxers, all undefeated, all in the quarterfinals, and all fighting this weekend. And as certain events wrap up, others just getting started. We haven't even begun to get into track and field yet. Most of our athletes beginning competition later this week. We'll keep you up to date on all that as the Olympics roll on. Of course, the Olympic Zone, Jim Donovan tonight, 7:30. I'll introduce you to a discus thrower from Cleveland. He overcame a lot to get to where he is, but he says, really, that's what made him a better discus thrower. The Kent State grad, will introduce you to him.
He's a great kid. He's a very good friend of my son Corey's, Reggie Jagers. And listen, he is on top of the world that he has made this Olympic team. It has been a lifelong dream of his. He's got a chance, too. I mean, if he goes out and
he's only been doing this by relative terms to everyone else for a short period of time.
You're right.
He just started in high school. A lot of these other discus throwers have been doing it for 18 years.
Yeah, worldwide, they start young over in Europe, and so we're kind of at a disadvantage there, but he's a great kid.
He's also
it's a great
left-handed.
story.
I don't know if
he
you
is
knew
lefty,
that. And no other discus thrower is. So he says he has to get an app on his phone to mirror image.
Yes,
to try to
switch
see
it
how
around.
he was doing it.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Wow. Never thought about the lefty on the discus, but that would spin the other way.
Absolutely.
Definitely. All right, thanks so much. Well, catch up with you again at 6, 7? And 11.
Yep, there you go.
Well, now on to the latest on the coronavirus. Get this, everybody. The numbers are climbing. You've already known that, but now we have some of the details. Today, 1,456 cases were reported in Ohio. The last 2 days, our state reported more than 1,000 cases. Our 3-week average is at 591, so we are way above average.
Yeah, this afternoon the CDC updated its COVID transmission map. It actually shows Lorain, Erie, Ashland, and Carroll counties all orange now, meaning there is substantial transmission in those areas. The next level is high transmission, and you'll remember from earlier this week, that is where the CDC is recommending that Americans put on those masks when they go indoors.
Well, all of this is all coming out as new data is saying that the third booster shot of that Pfizer vaccine will help better protect against the Delta variant. I think a lot of people were already going, well, yeah, it's going to help, but there's a little perspective to this. And for that perspective, of course, senior health correspondent Monica Robbins joins us now. Hey, Mo.
Yeah, you know what? The Pfizer announcing this morning that new data that they're finding suggests that the third dose of its COVID-19 vaccine boosts protection against the Delta variant. Now, according to Pfizer, a booster shot in younger people increased antibody levels against Delta that are more than 5 times higher than what was seen after 2 doses. The company also says levels from the third dose were more than 11 times higher in older people following a second dose. Now, we met Eric Berenstein last September when he signed on to test the Pfizer vaccine. He is now part of the booster study and is confident he got the actual vaccine rather than the placebo based on side effects.
Was very similar to the reaction after the second shot. A very, sore arm. The next morning woke up with a 99.5 degree temperature. Fatigue most of the day. Temperature rose to very low 100s.
Now, Eric says he felt better in a day, and Pfizer expects to publicize more data in the coming week and share that data, of course, with the FDA. Now, 10,000 people are in the booster trial. CDC and FDA both say right now, fully vaccinated people do not need boosters at this time. But as this Delta variant continues to spread like wildfire, do not be surprised. Probably after the turn of the year, we will probably start seeing boosters needed.
Okay, so we have the vaccine, but the mask is the whole easy right now change that people can make. There's a lot of different guidance going on with that. So yesterday it was announced that it's being advised wear mask in high transmission areas. What is going on with all this, with testing and all that stuff?
You know what? Here's the deal. We are not out of the woods, folks. We've been this way from day one. Everybody got comfortable when we saw the numbers going down, which is understandable. But the COVID has never gone away. So we really still have to take it seriously. And now that Delta is coming back, we really have to be careful. CDC says fully vaccinated individuals should now get tested if they have been exposed to COVID-19. Testing should take place 3 to 5 days after exposure, even if you don't have symptoms, and keep wearing your mask indoors until you get a negative test result. And again, as Delta cases continue to rise, you can expect to see businesses start issuing their own vaccine mandates for employees and mask mandates for everyone, even though the governor says he does not plan to issue a statewide mask mandate. We just need to use common sense. Right. If you're going to an event that has a lot of people, even if you're vaccinated, you still need to wear that mask and keep your distance.
Yep.
All right, Monica, thanks.
Sure. Well, coming up for us on What's New, the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo has something new, a zip line ride. Austin Love is going to check it out for us.
And our first hello of the show to Matt Wintz. 5-star day today, Matt.
Yep, 5-star day, 5-star evening across Northeast Ohio. Hopefully a 5-star dinner if you're going to the Hooley House. 70s, the temperatures falling back into the upper 70s over the next couple hours. We do have that sunshine, but a strong to severe thunderstorm threat arrives just in time for those wake-up hours tomorrow morning. We'll talk about it coming up.
What's New is sponsored by Cleveland Clinic, celebrating 100 years of care.
Woo! It's another warm one, but not as warm. Definitely feeling warm out there in the sunshine. You get in the shade, though, and you start to feel a little bit cooler. But lots of ups and downs as far as our forecast in the recent past and, of course, the near future.
Yeah, and I think the weather this weekend looks beautiful. I hope. Yeah. I'm trying to project here. So your weather word is adventure, because I think it might be a good weekend for an outdoor adventure.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree, Jay. It's going to be great. Hit up the beautiful Metroparks that we have. Lower humidity this weekend, still looking at like that sunshine. It's going to be pretty darn nice. But we've got to get there first. That's the problem. Whenever you have a transition between the heat and humidity and the cooler, drier air this time of year, that comes via a price, and that price is usually showers and thunderstorms, and the potential for some storms, especially tomorrow morning and then again tomorrow afternoon, is on the higher side for some of those to be on the stronger side. So we'll get into that. We'll set the stage first. Another hot day this afternoon. A little bit cooler the further north and east you got, though. We were generally low 80s, but then you get down towards Ashland, Sandusky, Millersburg. We were in the mid and upper 80s once again. Yeah, that's where that line is, between the cooler air to the north and the east, the heat in the plains, once again, triple digits from Texas up towards the Dakotas. And that dividing line is, as we've been talking about over really the last week and a half, that's the track that these storms take when they develop, and a pretty decent cluster of storms expected to develop later on this evening. This will become a complex of storms, so its own living, breathing area of showers and thunderstorms. We also call it a MCS, a mesoscale convective system. That'll be on jeopardy tonight, I hope, and you will thank me later. But you can see things not really too organized yet, but we're waiting for that to develop. And again, that should become the big story of the evening. Widespread severe weather is expected courtesy of the Storm Prediction Center from areas of Wisconsin into Michigan. You can see the track of this, the trajectory taking it into northeast Ohio, but that would be the early morning hours. We don't always have as much atmospheric energy then, so it should be a weakening line, but still could be on the potent side. So let's take you through it. This is what it's expected to look like via one model. You can see the large cluster of storms that develops, damaging winds on the leading edge, likely a couple tornadoes in Wisconsin. This tonight will move across Michigan and across the lake. Big model discrepancy is, how does this survive? Does it start to weaken? Does it maintain as it moves in sometime tomorrow morning? That'll be the big question. You can see another line perhaps developing in the afternoon as that frontal boundary finally works through. Here's another look in another model. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecast. You can see we're dry tonight. No problems this evening. This particular model bringing a gusty line of storms tomorrow morning. If you're joining Holly on Go tomorrow morning, that could be an adventure as you're tracking those storms around the area. And you can see how that kind of clears out. We heat up again during the midday tomorrow. We bring up more storms down to the south, and then eventually a frontal boundary comes through. Bottom line, chance of storms tomorrow morning, those could be on the strong side. We may have some damaging winds with those, and then in the afternoon, keep storm chances in the forecast. Then we'll clear things out. And boy, do we. Look at the humidity falling all the way down to the comfortable category behind that. Jay's right. Picture perfect weekend around here. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. There's your storm chances tomorrow. Clouds and sun, straight shower on Friday as that system exits. And you can see the weekend still looking good. Still some spotty showers on Sunday. Otherwise, we're dry. But 70s to near 80 degrees over the next 7 days. We'll be back with more after this.
There's a new attraction at the Cleveland Metroparks Zoo that just opened this week. Eagle Zip Adventure takes riders to new heights above the grounds of the zoo, but it is not your typical zip line. Austin Love gives us a first look.
Hey guys, today we are checking out the brand new ride here at Cleveland Metroparks Zoo, Eagle Zip Adventure. It's kind of a hybrid between a roller coaster and also a zip line. Sounds like so much fun, so I gotta check it out. Let's go. Going to the moon for the tandem ride. Let's do it.
They first strap you in.
Hello. This has been tested correct. I'm not a sack of potatoes here.
Then lift you up. Ooh. And finally, time to ride.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh. Hello.
You get shot back at 25 miles per hour, 150 feet in the air, giving you a gorgeous view of the zoo and even downtown Cleveland. You hang there for a few seconds to take in the view.
Right. Bombs away, baby.
Until you're shot down at 35 miles an hour over 700 feet.
Woo! I feel like it speeds up at the end. That was awesome. Sweet. Thank you.
Austin Adventure Love for 3 News. Back to you.
That view.
Okay, I need that in my life.
I love that view.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I had not seen that. I didn't know that was even a thing. Austin, thank you. When are we going?
Pretty soon. I think there's 2 seats. We got to do it.
It's our weekend adventure right there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, great. Ahead the next half hour of What's New, Baker and the Browns back in Berea. OBJ looked great running routes. We'll have a report on the Browns opening of training camp ahead of the 2021 season.
Then local Olympian Dominique Moceanu weighs in on the mental and physical stress the Olympians face, like Simone Biles is going through.
Then I'm going to take you behind the menu to a great chicken shop on the east side of town that really does have amazing chicken. What inspired this fine dining restaurant to go style? We'll tell you.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And Jay Crawford with Betsy Kling. We welcome you back into the second half hour of What's New. We get you up to speed with 3 things you need to know. The Browns are back. They opened training camp today to begin preps for the 2021 season. Remember when we last saw our Browns, they lost that nail-biter 22-17 to the Chiefs. That was in the AFC divisional round. And it is those same Kansas City Chiefs that they will open up against in the regular season 46 days from right now. OBJ back on the field after his ACL surgery. Looked great today, cutting and making catches, just looked great in drills. A little concern over defensive back Greedy Williams, who had to leave the field with trainers. Remember, he missed the entire season last year with an injury. It's been very difficult keeping him on the field. We're going to have much more on the Browns training camp day 1 with Jim Donovan coming up at 6 o'clock.
Pfizer says its data suggests a 3rd dose of its COVID vaccine boosts protection against the Delta variant. Now, that may seem like common knowledge, but now we get a look at the early data to back that up. According to Pfizer, antibodies in younger people were 5 times higher than they were with 2 doses. When given the 3rd dose, they were 11 times higher in older people. Pfizer plans to publish more definitive data in the coming weeks and will share it with the FDA. Remember, the CDC and FDA both say fully vaccinated people do not need a booster right now, but they haven't ruled out that possibility for the future.
And number 3, today we learned that Olympian Simone Biles will not compete in tomorrow's all-around competition. The 6-time medalist will continue to focus on her mental health. This comes after she dropped out of the team final yesterday. She'll be evaluated every day before she and her team decide if she'll compete in next week's individual events. And on that note, we welcome you back to What's New. I'm Jay Crawford with Betsy Kling. The Indians won today, 7-2 over the Cardinals out of Progressive Field. And speaking of baseball, from time to time we speak about Monique, our terrific producer on the program. Today we had a little bit of fun here at the station. This is sort of a welcome back week, really.
Right.
So we're doing fun things around the station. We had a piñata.
A coronavirus piñata.
A coronavirus piñata.
Yes.
And Mo was selected to take the first swing and the only swing at this thing. And we have a picture now.
Oh,
it's coming up in just a second, I promise. They turned out the lights before we did the piñata.
Yeah, right.
So it was very dark. And then when we actually, here it is. There's the video.
Now she misses, but keep in mind, that's a pretty high velocity on that swing. Now, this is the best part.
Yeah, she goes in.
Beats the stuffing out of that thing.
Yeah, that was a I am frustrated with coronavirus swing. That's what that is.
And we all got treats.
Yeah, Mo's very fun. Terrific producer. Her baseball swing is outstanding.
Yeah, we need to boot up the softball team for sure. And a mega shout out to our general manager, Mickey Burns. Amazing. Just out of nowhere, this little coronavirus piñata
we
descends.
Heard her voice over the balcony.
It descends from the ceiling, and we get to have treats.
All right, now to our top talker today. Only a select few people can understand the pressure that Simone Biles and other Olympic athletes are under. One of those people, Northeast Ohioan and former Olympian Dominique Moceanu. Lena Lai spoke to her for insight on what's next for Simone.
Initially, I was in shock, just like the rest of the world.
When Dominique Moceanu saw the 6 seconds that changed everything for Simone Biles.
Once I came out here, I was like, no, mental is not there, so I just need to let the girls do it and focus on myself.
Moceanu understood.
It could be our own interpretation of perfectionism. It could be the expectation of the weight of everybody's relying on me or counting on me.
She was the youngest Olympic champion in U.S. gymnastics history and a member of the 1996 Magnificent Seven, winning the first ever team gold for the U.S. These days, Moceanu helps young athletes realize their Olympic dreams with a gym that bears her name in Medina, where mental health is a priority.
Because if this is not right on, you can get severely hurt, catastrophically hurt.
Demons, as Biles called it, the invisible opponent that perhaps got louder in the quiet absence of Olympic crowds. Biles hinted to the impact, which Moceanu says is very real.
In 1996, we have 33,000 people in the stands at the Georgia Dome. USA, USA, chanting, cheering. And that gives you that extra zest you need to say, game on, we've got this. And yes, when it's quiet, it almost makes it a little bit more nerve-wracking.
A reminder, when athletes seem almost superhuman, they also battle the opponent within.
Remember, Simone is human too.
Lena Lai, 3 News.
Well, of course, gymnastics takes place inside in the Ariake Gymnastics Center, but outside, boy, Tokyo is hot. Heat is definitely becoming more and more of a problem. And today it was so intense that Spanish tennis player Paula Badosa had heat stroke during her quarterfinal. A Russian player struggled to breathe in the hot, humid conditions. And now world tennis officials say they are going to start matches later in the day to avoid the heat. Temperatures have reached in the 90s and up. But as always, it's not just the heat. Matt Wentz is going to join us now with a closer look at some of these conditions that the athletes are facing.
Right, and these are athletes as well who are well trained, right? They're well hydrated because they know that. They're fit. But there are some factors that we have to consider. First of all, it's summertime over there, right? And it gets hot in the summertime. Their temperatures are very comparable to us here in Northeast Ohio when we average in the mid 80s mostly. And we've got humidity levels that are a little bit higher there. So that's a big difference. But here's the setup that's making it just so darn hot there. These are the current temperatures. You see the white, that's the temperature. The yellow is the feels like temperature. So 86 for a high tomorrow, right? That's manageable. It's warm, but it'll feel more like 96 degrees at times. And the reason why is because they've got a tropical flow off the ocean. They've got water temperatures, whereas, we've got water temperatures in the 70s, so we get some relief. Their water temperatures sit at 80 degrees, so that's bath water. So it's just a very tropical atmosphere compared to Northeast Ohio. So that heat, as we've noticed last couple days, feels a lot thicker. They get no relief at night. It's going to feel like 80 degrees for a low tonight, and then it does it all again the next day with temperatures up near 92 for feels like. But look at how big Greater Tokyo area is. It's the biggest greater city area in the whole entire world. 5,200 square miles of heat and pavement and concrete. So it stores that heat. We call that the urban heat island. So they don't get a lot of relief. This isn't a competition that's taking place in the hills where you get the cooling of the grass and all that. I mean, it's literally in the middle of a toaster.
And it's at sea level.
And it's at sea level,
so all that heat descends and they really just bake.
Right. So it's like worst case scenario for where an Olympics could be.
Our track and field athletes are going to be okay, though. Remember, at the trials, it was 118 degrees.
Right.
And they had to compete in that.
It was drier, but still.
It was drier.
Yeah.
There was humidity, but it's nothing like that. But I think that might actually be a factor in how they perform.
You're
because they're
absolutely
used to it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Yep.
Coming up, we're going behind the menu. I'm going to tell you all about a chicken ranch restaurant that you're really going to have to try and how the family-run business came to be during COVID.
But first, Animal Snag, how one seagull's determination turned into today's Show Us Something Good.
Is that shoplifting?
Yeah, I think it would be.
The Summer Games Medal Count is sponsored by Dollar Bank. Let's get you there.
I am so impressed right now. I just want to go ahead and throw this out there. Jay Crawford has rhythm skills. He was drumming right along with that music that we just had with the medal count. Scooch down a little bit, Matt.
Yeah, I got it. I'm too tall for all these cameras. They have to. It's totally fine.
I played bongos in like 5th grade.
Did you?
For a minute, yeah.
I can see that.
I can tell, Jay.
That was it.
Good to keep your hands busy.
You know, when I met you, one of the things I thought is like, I bet he's a bongo player.
Bongos, for sure. Or maracas.
We'll
That's another good one.
They're good people.
You know, Matt, the forecast with these storms, that's what we were talking about during the break there.
Right.
It's kind of interesting how this is expected to evolve overnight.
It is, and the forecast confidence, I mean, it's not just, our weather service, our meteorologists, it's virtually all the Great Lakes agree that this, what you see right now, which is kind of disorganized, develops into a large complex of storms. So confidence is there. You know what they say with meteorologists get confident. So we're just going to give you what we know and what we think here going on in the forecast. That is what a forecast is. But here you go. We've got lots of energy off towards the north. Storm Prediction Center puts out, that slight or moderate risk. I don't like the wording on that. It really doesn't tell you. Bottom line, we're expecting widespread severe weather from Wisconsin into areas of Michigan. Notice how it kind of fades as it moves towards northeast Ohio. This evening is expected to be active there, and then we'll watch perhaps this complex of storms start to fade as it moves in. Big question is when it arrives tomorrow morning, we're fine this evening, when it arrives tomorrow morning, how much is left with this thing, right? This is all along the demarcation line between the heat and humidity, much cooler, almost fall-like air for New England. This jet stream is going to do this over the next 24 hours. So we're going to tap into some much cooler air, and it's actually going to stick around as we get throughout the weekend. Our forecast has remained unchanged after today. So here we go. Regional temperatures. The heat's in the plains. We're kind of in between today. No problems this evening. You've got evening plans, do them because it is just beautiful outside. Light wind, temperatures back into the 70s. Humidity is manageable at this point. But then things will start to change. So National Design Mart, big picture look at how this is expected to evolve with the models. You see this big cluster of storms that develops, likely damaging winds with this on the leading edge of that. Could have a couple tornadoes up in Wisconsin. All of it's northwest of Ohio tonight. While most of us are sleeping, this line will move across Michigan, and then tomorrow morning, what could be on our doorstep could be a large cluster of storms that may have some leftover damaging winds with it. This, timing-wise, has kind of been pushed back a little bit, so now we're thinking maybe 4, 5, 6 o'clock off towards the west, maybe 7, 8 greater Cleveland. Again, all depends on how this develops off towards the north. We may see some redevelopment in the afternoon. Some of those could be strong to severe. That would be further south, wherever that boundary ends up. Look at temperatures. You can see we're fine tonight. Tomorrow morning, here comes the rain and storms. Morning rush hour could get interesting. You're going to want to have the WKYC app handy. Also, Holly will get you up and going in the morning with the latest. And you can see by afternoon, we're not done with that storm threat. It's after that we clear things out. And Friday and the weekend looking gorgeous. Muggy meter goes downhill. We've got temps in the 70s per your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Just a beautiful Friday and Saturday. Sunday, another boundary moves through. A couple rain chances around here. Not a big deal. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're all over again with the low humidity and sunshine. Jay?
All right, it looks great. Thank you very much, Matt. Well, time for our show with something good now. It comes from Port Clinton. This seagull is hilarious. He tried to snag a stuffed animal from Northern Exposure Candle Company. You can see it pecking at the stuffed fish. Then it picks it up and tries to walk away with it. That is shoplifting in progress, folks. The bird wants that fish so badly, he thinks it's real. He's going to be very disappointed when he finds out it's stuffed with cotton. Nonetheless, he is on the move, and at last word, he was located going west out of the building. Stop that seagull.
Little sneaky thing.
Cool.
I have something good to show, too. Guess what, everybody? My Josie Joe is 13 today. Yay! So many people know her as Josie the Weather Girl, as she did weather with me on Christmas night her entire life. Well, she is now 13. Y'all, I have a teenager.
I know. I know.
Oy vey.
And now she has a phone and everything.
Oh, I know. Help me.
So grown up.
She is.
Happy birthday, Josie.
Happy birthday, JoJo. We'll be right back.
All right, test 1 2 1 2. Now, in case you're wondering how they determine which neighborhoods to divvy out this free internet.
It's my favorite segment in the world. And all of a sudden, our studio smells so wonderful. Tonight, we continue our Behind the Menu series. And this time, we're taking you to a casual, fast chicken restaurant. They serve up delicious food. I mean, like fine dining food. I had the chance to learn how the family behind Chicken Ranch unites to serve up a very flavorful experience.
Evolving as a chef over the years, that's part of it, you know.
Chef Demetrius has left his mark on a number of popular Cleveland restaurants, like Forage Public House, Oak Barrel, and Bold. But when it came time to launching his newest concept, he took things in a different direction.
Chicken Ranch is our way of doing the farm-to-table food in a smaller, to-go kind of setting. When COVID happened and everything went on lockdown, I spent a good 6 months, 8 months, trying to come up with concepts that were going to fit the times that we're in, evolving again as a chef, as a business owner.
The result? Chicken Ranch, which opened in University Heights back in December. But he's not doing it alone.
Being a family-run business is really what's kept us, I think, like ahead of the game. I mean, my brother is my partner here. We both handle operations here. My wife does all the design work, all the social media stuff. And then, my daughter works here full-time. My sister works here full-time.
So I've had people tell me before, you got to be careful when you're in business with family because it's different. It's certainly different. Sure. How is that working out?
We've worked together for so many years already. We keep moving forward and keep doing, we love what we do. We love working together. So, if you're not happy doing what you do, right?
Here, the family influence actually goes back decades.
My uncle had Chicken Ranch originally in the 80s in New York, in Brooklyn. 4th Avenue and 86th Street was the first location. And like when I was designing the menu, it was kind of like an homage to that.
Cleveland's Chicken Ranch focuses on quality ingredients and freshly made product. Everything from their signature chicken sandwiches to ribs, fish, even cannoli.
What really keeps people coming back, because it is so unique, the flavor, because of the different layers of flavor that we do with the chicken, from the brining process to the breading and the sauces and stuff.
That's 16 sauces to be exact, many of them perfected over years in the kitchen.
All our sauces are homemade, so we got the buttermilk ranch, the blue cheese, our honey mustard is the honey mustard. We like to think it's the best there. When you try it, you'll see why.
Chicken's one of my favorite cuisines, so I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Right on.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I know the chicken sandwich has been all the rage for the past 5 years. I've never had a chicken sandwich that tastes that good. That is next level chicken sandwich.
Right on, man.
If you haven't tried Chicken Ranch, you absolutely need to. You will thank me later. Demetrios, thank you.
Thank you, man.
This is just tremendous.
Great having you guys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Demetrios, you know what you're doing over there. So look at this chicken sandwich. They brought us just a tremendous amount of food, but will you look at the size of that chicken?
It's like half of a fryer sitting there on that bun.
It's unbelievable. Look, we've got ribs here. These ribs are unbelievable. They have macaroni and cheese. The 16 sauces.
Yeah, they're in here.
What's wonderful about that, Bets, is when you change sauces, it's like an entirely different meal.
Legit.
So
all 16 are in here.
They're chicken strips. I kid you not. It literally, I shouldn't do it. This is the hottest one they have. It's literally fine dining.
Oh, it's a hot one. Eat it.
But it's to be delivered.
Okay, this is cauliflower that they've done something delicious to. Oh. How you doing? You okay? You're turning red.
I'm telling you, it's hot. It's delicious. It's a great place. Chicken Ranch. And Demetrios, you are a wonderful host.
Thank you.
You're an even better chef.
Mm-hmm.
Give them a try, folks. Give them a try. The timing was perfect.
Right.
COVID came, everybody wanted takeout or delivery, and this is what that's what they do.
Who doesn't want takeout or delivery? Get it. You could stay home, watch the Olympics. We have more medals for Team USA as they lead the way in the summer games, but still, all eyes are on Simone Biles' Olympic future. We have a live report from Tokyo next.
It's synchronized diving.
Hey, Al. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Good.
You got to try the cauliflower. Ridiculous, but true. Seriously.
Hi, Al. Can you hear me? Al, can you hear me? Yeah, I do. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, and thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell. I'm Laura Queso. Tonight, 3 big stories.
Are you trying to talk to me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you, but she's not. You're talking to me.
And I was hearing you when you were trying to talk to Russ.
We have the wrong lens. I'm
we
sorry.
have the wrong mics on?
It's my fault.
Oh, God.
Here's the IFPs. Wrong IFPs.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, well. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. I'm Laura Queso. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Sorry about that, Simone Biles.
Simone Biles pulling out of another competition in Tokyo, but she's receiving a lot of public support for her decision to do so.
NBC's Liz McLaughlin has more on Biles and the strong showing by the U.S. athletes at the Tokyo Olympics.
U.S. gymnastics superstar Simone Biles will not defend her all-around title, announcing she's dropping out of the competition to focus on her mental well-being. The decision comes just a day after she withdrew from the team final. Her teammates saying Biles' health and safety are the top priority.
She's just going to take day by day, and like I said, it's her. We'll support her. We'll support
no matter
her,
what.
yeah.
Tough decisions for Biles that have been met with an overwhelmingly positive response. USA Gymnastics saying in a statement it wholeheartedly supports her decision. Other athletes saying they know the feeling.
I mean, we're human beings. We have emotions.
The spotlight on another American powerhouse, Katie Ledecky. bested by an Australian rival in her first races, now back on top of the podium for a 6th career gold after dominating in the 1500-meter freestyle, a race available to women for the first time this year. Teammate Erica Sullivan's second-place finish sweetening the victory. In another Olympic debut, the U.S. women's 3x3 basketball team won the sport's first gold medal with an 18-15 victory against the Russian team.
Oh, what a finish!
And a rebound for the U.S. in men's basketball with a win against Iran, following a disappointing opening game loss to France. More success for the U.S. in Diving Wednesday.
Still feels like I'm living in a dream, but it's just amazing to see all of our hard work and dedication pay off.
Pushing the total medal count past the 30 mark.
The U.S. now leading the total medal count with 31, 11 of those gold medals, and more medal opportunities today in fencing, shooting, rowing, swimming, and of course the sport we're all talking about, women's gymnastics. That all-around competition is just hours away now. Medal contender Suni Lee will be representing the U.S., and Jade Carey will be replacing Simone Biles. She ranked 9th in the qualifiers. Live in Tokyo, I'm Liz McLaughlin. Betsy and Jay, back to you guys.
So much to look forward to tonight. Thanks so much, Liz.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, you know, we saw just a brief clip of it, but the synchronized diving is fascinating to me. It's really fun to watch. We're out of time. Thanks so much for watching. Back tomorrow at 5, and we hope you join us then.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, the Browns are back. Training camp is underway for a new season and a new era in Cleveland football. The voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, breaks down what to expect over the next few weeks. Also, eye on the Olympics. The world watches the Summer Games as Simone Biles pulls out of another event. Will Ewig explains the impact of her well-being on the Games and Team USA. Controlling COVID, from mask wearing to a booster vaccination. What experts say could now be the key to slowing down the spread of the virus as more cases pop up in Ohio. Monica Robbins sorts it all out. And digital dedication. A local group gets quite the financial boost, helping to bring broadband internet to all of Cleveland.
From the WKYC studios, this is What Matters Most.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Russ Mitchell.
And I'm Laura Queso. Tonight, 3 big stories for you. A spike in COVID cases reported in Ohio and new messaging about possible vaccine booster shots.
Plus, the Summer Games and serious discussions about mental health in the wake of Simone Biles pulling out of another competition.
And also the Browns officially begin a new season today with the start of training camp.
And that's where we begin. The voice of the Browns, Jimmy Donovan, was at camp today. He is like a kid on Christmas morning, and he joined us now with more. Hi, Jim.
It's never been that hot on Christmas. I'll tell you what, here's the good thing on day one, I have hit my target weight. It was really hot out there today, and the Browns players felt it. All right, here we go. It's what we've been waiting for, and when those Browns players took that field today, you look out over the landscape of those beautifully manicured practice field, and you say, this team looks so good, so fast, so deep. And of course, the history is good. They won 11 games last year, but that was a surprise. They caught the NFL by surprise, how good the Browns were and how quickly they just kept improving week to week. They're not a surprise anymore. And Kevin Stefanski reminded his team of that. But the good thing going for the Browns is the head coach is back. His staff is back. The offense is the same. The defense is the same as far as style with new players. There's a lot of getting to know you that's already been done a year ago.
We certainly established an identity on offense, defense, and special teams. But I truly do go back that every year stands on its own merit. So just because you did it last year doesn't mean you're going to do it this year. So we're going to start back at square one. We're going to make sure that we reinforce this foundation and not get too far ahead of ourselves, Darryl. But I would tell you that going into year 2, certainly we've established, we hope, a way of operating.
Right, that identity last year was really a hard-nosed football team that really outworks you, that goes back to the basics of running the football and hopefully playing a lot better defense this year than they played last year. But the coach is pounding that into the football team every meeting right from the outset when they showed up to Berea a couple of nights ago that, hey, listen, every day, gotta work. Don't look at the expectations, just get better today. And hopefully that's going to be the process. Greedy Williams left the practice field today. We were concerned about that. Yeah. He missed all of last year. It was just heat exhaustion. It wasn't anything to do with the injured shoulder from last year.
As you told us, it was hot out there today.
Oh, wow.
You look great, Jim. You look
great.
great.
Thank you very much. I am soaked underneath.
We will see you later in sports.
You got it. Okay.
Well, the top story from Tokyo tonight, Simone Biles, who earlier today pulled out of the gymnastics individual all-around. It comes just days after withdrawing from the team competition.
Will Ewig joins us live from the Ozone set with more on that. Hi, Will.
Yeah, Russ, a lot of questions still surrounding what lies ahead for Simone Biles at the Games in Tokyo. You mentioned she pulled out of the gymnastics finals. Then today, the individual all-around she pulled out of. That's the event she won gold in Rio, saying the emotional toll right now of the Games forcing her to withdraw. So the four-time Olympic gold medalist, this is what happened. She competed at the Team USA's first rotation on the vault yesterday, then bailed out of a few moves before stumbling a bit on the landing. Very unlike her. She then huddled with the trainer, exited the floor before returning in a sweatsuit to cheer on the rest of the team. Now, many different athletes have come to her defense over the last 36 hours, shedding light on the stress and mental toll competing at this high level can have. USA gold medal gymnast Dominic Mucciano says trying to compete while also wrestling with those type of demons mentally, really a recipe for disaster.
I think the fears are also demons because she had mentioned that she'd had the twisties in the gym, kind of like the yips. Like you have a little bit of psychological challenges and fears with spatial awareness, where you can get lost in the air and you don't know where you are, and you could possibly fall on your head. You can have have an injury from something like that. So that could be some demons. It could be personal trauma she's dealing with that she hasn't quite been able to maybe work through it all yet, like anybody who has had trauma in their past.
USA Gymnastics said Biles will be evaluated before deciding if she'll participate in next week's individual events. The first two up, vault and floor exercise, they are scheduled for Sunday, Russ.
All right, Will Ewig in Studio B. Thank you so much. And while the games are going on, Japan is still dealing with a COVID crisis. Tokyo has set an all-time high daily case number today at 3,177 new cases. Tokyo has been under a fourth state of emergency because of COVID since just before the beginning of the games.
And here at home, we are seeing a similar situation, rising COVID-19 cases in Ohio. Take a look at these numbers. 1,456 new cases reported in the state just today. Considering the 21-day average is 591 new cases, the numbers in Ohio have more than doubled in a day. And take a look at this. This is the updated map from the Ohio Department of Health showing Lorain, Ashland, and Erie counties are all in orange as of today. That means if they follow CDC guidelines, masking indoors may soon be required. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins is here to explain this further. Hi, Monica.
Hey, Laura. Yeah, the CDC says fully vaccinated individuals should now get tested if they've been exposed to COVID-19. Testing should take place 3 to 5 days after exposure, even if you don't have symptoms, and keep wearing a mask indoors until you get a negative test result. And as Delta cases continue to rise, you can expect to see businesses starting to issue their own vaccine mandates for employees and mask mandates for everyone. Now, even though the governor has said he will not issue a statewide mask mandate. Meanwhile, I caught up with a Pfizer trial participant who's now testing the booster shot. He believes he got the actual thing, not the placebo, because the side effects were identical to his second dose.
I really feel good about the whole situation, whole process. I'm real happy that they gave me an opportunity to join the booster trial. I just feel really good. You just walk into a public place and, you just have a different level of confidence for sure.
Now, Pfizer says its booster in younger people increased antibody levels against Delta that are more than 5 times higher than what was seen after 2 doses. And the company also says levels from the 3rd dose were more than 11 times higher in older people following a second dose. But again, right now, the FDA and CDC say boosters are not yet needed for Americans, but eventually, Laura, probably by the turn of the year, they may be.
All right, we shall see. Monica Robbins, thanks so much.
New tonight, a luncheon was held today to celebrate a huge grant to bring equal access to the web. Local nonprofit wireless internet provider Digital C received millions of dollars in funds, hoping to close Greater Cleveland's digital divide. January Keaton attended the event and has more.
We use it for everything, to order groceries, help our kids with homework, look for jobs, stay in touch with friends and family. It's hard to imagine life without the internet. Yet for thousands of Clevelanders, that's their reality.
That we must make the digital divide a thing of the past and make high-speed, high-quality, affordable internet a public utility, not a privilege.
Digital C on 68th and Euclid is its own internet provider, bringing wireless connectivity to unserved and underserved communities in Cleveland.
Our internet service is called Empower Cleve, and we provide that service for $18 a month as our basic service price.
And with a generous $20 million grant from local philanthropic groups, the Mandel and the Myers Foundations, Digital C can now expand its reach and hook up even more homes to the internet.
Cleveland is the least connected major city in the country.
According to the 2019 census, Cleveland has the highest percentage of households without broadband internet accounts of any U.S. city with 100,000 or more households. Nearly 80,000 Cleveland households don't have cable, fiber optic, or DSL internet. And almost 53,000 households lack internet at all, even with their cell phones. That's 31% of the city's total households.
That's like 80,000 people in the city not having water.
Every day that goes by that we don't have good connectivity is a day lost for the future of our kids. And there's no reason we have to accept that in Cleveland.
A $20 million donation, but a priceless contribution to the community. Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. Now, in case you're wondering how they decide which portions of the community get offered this low-cost internet service, they actually go to the county and ask, hey, can we put a sensor on top of this building over here? And they do. They have sensors and equipment on top of several buildings, and that helps them kind of determine the range, which has less quick, slower internet speeds, as well as non-quality internet speeds. And those areas are where they focus their services with.
A great equalizer, we hope. January Keaton, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Tonight, Faces of COVID, remembering a legend who brought his music to the masses here in Cleveland.
And Jimmy is back with a look at how the U.S. is doing in the Olympic medal count. Stay with us.
What Matters Most is sponsored by Cleveland Clinic, celebrating 100 years of care.
A Cleveland music legend is now another face of COVID.
David Smeltz, founder and guitarist of pioneering reggae group Ital, passed away 1 month ago after a long battle with coronavirus. His fellow musicians opened up to me about who David was and the loss felt by so many.
There's a land that I heard about so far across the sea.
This is the last song Carlos Jones sang for his friend and fellow band member David Smeltz as he was lying in the hospital after a months-long battle with COVID-19.
And I mean, the whole time I could barely sing because I was just tears, but I saw him try to open his eyes. And so I could tell that he was getting it. He was getting the vibe. And that's what I wanted to share and send him off with, Would be like heaven to me.
David Smeltz died a few hours later. The day was June 24th. His battle with COVID led to many health issues like pneumonia and a stroke before David ultimately lost his breath. His fellow musicians were able to say goodbye.
It was hard for me to look at him like that. And all I could do is say a word of prayer and walk away.
I hugged him, kissed his head, and said it again. I said, I'll be back, man. I'll be back. And when I left, I knew I wasn't going to go back. I couldn't see him that way.
So far across the sea.
Nice.
When you're the saddest, music can lift you.
And it was music that lifted David throughout his life, like this song.
Love is patient, love is kind.
One note at a time, he brought people together through harmony. A Cleveland native, he co-founded the band Ital in 1978, a pioneer of reggae music in the Northeast, and helped launch the local reggae scene. George Gordon helped David name the band.
That's when we got really blasted and started.
After years of partying on the road, David turned to a clean and sober lifestyle, releasing music and books with a focus on recovery, even starting a center for recovery, a nonprofit named Clean House Inc. I spoke to David just 1 year ago, ahead of his performance at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, about his mission.
Who would you say your biggest inspirations are?
I would have to say my biggest inspirations are the ladies and gentlemen that I see in recovery for sustained recovery, like 20, 30, 40 years of staying sober. Those are my biggest inspirations.
And for these men, David was their inspiration.
He saved other people's lives. It's not just about the music. It's about David and the purity of his spirit and the purity of his heart.
A heart that showed through his melodies and harmonies. His band Ital is no more ever since David's passing.
Yeah, Dave ain't around, so they ain't been Ital.
Yeah, because I mean, even if you got all of the original members together without Dave at the front of it, it'll never be the same. It's not Ital. Said it's a reggae family party.
But with music, passion, and love, his songs will live on and continue to be played through them.
Yeah, nobody can take his place.
If you ever met him, you would be taken.
Last time.
Because the smile alone would invite you in.
2 seconds of meeting David Smeltz and you were in love with him.
Yeah.
Reggae family party.
So it's hard to think he's gone. He's not gone. He's in all of us.
And these musicians have a message after losing their friend. People might be over the pandemic, but they say it's not over. And George, the co-founder of the band, said something that stuck with me. He said, you have to love yourself before you can love someone else. So he said, when you protect yourself, meaning getting the vaccine, you're protecting others.
Very good point. Only 54 years old.
Yeah, young guy.
Wow.
And so talented.
Yeah, really nice story.
Thanks, Russ.
Certainly puts things in perspective. It is now coming up on 6/16. Betsy Kling in the house. Betsy, you've done it again. Another picture-perfect summer day.
Here in Ohio, yes, not bad, but And there's always a but, you know, and unfortunately, we are watching areas farther north because we will be on the receiving end of storms to start the day tomorrow. Let's break it down for you. We are going to be talking about the temperatures fading back into the 70s under mostly clear skies as we head through the evening here. But clouds start to fill in as we get into the overnight. Now, I'm going to start big. We're going to get a little bit more focused, but the big picture remains unchanged from what we've been telling you about. This pattern is everything as far as our forecast goes. Now, this is the jet stream pattern. The storm systems all run in here. When you have a little wave, a little ripple of energy that drops into this pattern, it's going to follow that line, and that line brings a wave right through northern Ohio to start the day tomorrow. That line is the dividing line between the heat dome to the west, where temperatures once again are 100+ degrees in South Dakota, to where we have temperatures anywhere from 79 in Ashtabula to 86 in Mansfield right now. So we have that difference in temperature right here in Northeast Ohio. But an even more startling visualization of that line is in the dew point temperatures. We need heat, we need humidity, and we need a trigger for thunderstorm development and thunderstorms to be able to sustain. Look at that line. Look how it drops right into the state of Ohio. So we're going to be watching for the genesis of the storms in the upper lakes. They'll follow the line right down into Northeast Ohio. So we're going to break it all down for you. You can see we already have some storms that are beginning to fire out here in northern portions of Wisconsin. We're expecting more to develop as we head through the evening. We will be on the receiving end of this complex, and a complex means it becomes a self-sustaining, organized grouping of thunderstorms that will continue to move to the southeast and impact us. Big picture first, then we'll go detailed, but here's that big picture. Notice the storms here. They'll begin firing as we go through the evening. There's the complex. Now, it's not just that one thing, though. All of this is going to start to work in tandem. Watch as we go through the overnight. That's 10 p.m. Look how this begins to drop into central Michigan, central Wisconsin. This is 2 a.m. Things have not gotten weaker. As a matter of fact, things are becoming more organized. And as this complex continues to move southeast through southern Michigan tomorrow morning, again, this is 6 a.m. Thursday. Look at where all of this is. This is going to be incoming for the morning commute. So definitely one of those days you want to get up, click on that TV. Holly will get you started in the morning, keeping an eye on the radar. You always have the app available in the palm of your hand too, because the thunderstorms will be dropping into northern Ohio to begin the day tomorrow. Keep in mind, we not only have a threat of heavy downpours that will impact the morning commute, but we have a high wind gust potential with this too, and those could be damaging wind gusts. All of this is still to be determined. It's going to be evolving as we head through the night. But as of right now, it looks like we'll see things backing off midday and then another grouping of thunderstorms firing farther south to start the afternoon. Here's your National Design hour by hour on the closer view. Easy peasy tonight. Partly cloudy skies, nice and warm. There's 7 a.m. Here come those thunderstorms as they drop in. Notice temperatures right around 70. Southwest winds at 13. Thunderstorm winds will be added to that, so it could be very complicated for the morning commute tomorrow. Once that grouping of thunderstorms begins to move south, we'll be watching for more storms to fire in the afternoon heat of the day, but I think all that would be south of Cleveland and possibly even south of our viewing area down toward the Columbus area. So as I said, everything is still on the table as far as what could end up happening, but here's what we do know. We'll be getting thunderstorms tonight. How they evolve and how strong they are tomorrow morning, that is what is still to be determined. 81 for your day tomorrow in the afternoon with those shower and storm chances lingering. Union Home Mortgage forecast drops us into the 70s then as we go through the weekend. We won't be seeing any heat streaks anytime soon. That's great news for the Browns because they're back at training camp. Jimmy Donovan will join us in next.
I'm worried about Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett or whatever her name is. Isn't that an interesting story, though?
That's a fascinating story.
Huh?
Yeah.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Sarah Auto Park in Akron. The Summer Games medal count is sponsored by Dollar Bank. Let's get you there.
Hi, everybody. Let's begin with the medal count from Tokyo. The United States with 11 golds, 31 total medals in all. China close, right behind, 27 in all, followed by Russia, Japan, and Australia. Now to the Browns, opening day of training camp today in the heat. Good practice this afternoon, another one coming up tomorrow, and then Friday, you get to go. First practice with the public being invited in. Now we go to Jarvis Landry. Boy, he looked sensational today. There was a point last year in the middle of the year where people were saying to me, what's wrong with Jarvis Landry? Well, I'll tell you what's wrong. He played the whole year with cracked ribs. The guy is a tough guy, but he's 100% ready to go and very excited about where this team could go.
I feel great. You know, obviously I'm still, you know, getting better. We still, got another month or so, month and a half before we play our first game or whatever it is. So, you know, I still got some work to do, but I feel way better than I felt this time last year.
Over on the defense, of course, so many new faces, but not that guy, number 95. Myles Garrett looking good. Jadeveon Clowney in the shot there, too. So that defense is new, but Myles Garrett is the leader by example. 12 sacks last year, loving the style that they're going to play this year, and ready to go.
I don't like to think about that, knowing that we got the Chiefs the first week. So we don't have time to kind of be on the back foot, going against them first week. But I know out here is where we're going to be able to kind of grind those things out.
Now, update on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. He, of course, was placed on the COVID-19 list on Sunday. He's asymptomatic. Stefanski would not say today if he'll have to miss 10 days, because if he was positive, he would have to miss 10 days right away. He's been watching everything virtually, but as I've said before, when rookies miss any time in training camp, it's something they never get back. They fall behind, so hopefully he'll be on the field quickly. The Browns have added 2 new players to their Legends class. A guy who I love watch play, the middle linebacker, DeQuell Jackson, the Browns linebacker from 2006 to 2013. Boy, he was in there when it was lean, but he was always playing hard. And we go back to a blast from the past. Bill Nelson, the quarterback of the Browns, a Pro Bowler in 1969. He was the quarterback of the Browns from 1968 to 1972. Day baseball over at Progressive Field today, and the ball was flying out of the ballpark as the Indians split with the Cardinals. They beat them today by a score of 7-2, largely due to Franmil Reyes. He homered 2 at-bats in a row. One of the first that Tom Hamilton said was a moonshot. And then this one in the 3rd inning. The Indians hit a couple more, and they win the game by a score of 7-2. Now they're off tomorrow, and then they start a weekend series with the White Sox coming up on Friday. J.C. Mejia will open that series. That's a very important series. The White Sox lead the Indians by 9 games as we sit here right now. Now here's the key thing. Before that game, remember, the trading deadline hits Friday at 4 o'clock, and some of the Indians' names being mentioned, Cesar Hernandez could be dealt away.
Okay, busy few days ahead. Yep. All right, Jimmy, thank you. And we thank you for watching. Jimmy and Sarah back for Front Row at 7 o'clock.
And as always, the NBC Nightly News is just minutes away for you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everyone.
It is better to say and acknowledge that, hey, I'm not in my right mind at this moment and I cannot move forward, but
Jacob Wookie isn't resting on his laurels.
Where's your silver medal right now? The one you took home in London?
This is nature in miniature. Skateboarding comes from the streets and bears the style, creativity, and toughness you might expect. Often chased from public places and forced to hide under the cover of night, skateboarders, once labeled rebellious, are skating into the sunlight of the Olympic stage, a chance to be seen for what they really are, wildly creative, daring artists and athletes.
I think skateboarding is the great equalizer. I think it's really doesn't matter where you come from, your race, your gender, your skill level, your style, you're welcome. And so I love it. I think it's very inclusive.
Legend Tony Hawk is here to witness his beloved skateboarding reach new heights and a new audience.
It is time for the power of inspiration. And for that, as always, we turn to Matt Colley. Good to have you along, Matt.
Good to be back, Jim. So this is a great story. It's a story made for Hollywood. A little girl growing up in Alaska with a dream to win Olympic gold. But here's the twist. The sport isn't something winter related. It's actually...
To most people, this may look like just a discus.
It's 2 kilograms, around 5 pounds.